Welcome to NARAL's The Morning After. Each Thursday, our podcast brings you the latest on reproductive health care, progressive politics, and the fight to keep abortion safe and legal. NARAL's The Morning After is a production of NARAL Pro-Choice Ohio. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ProChoiceOH. Enjoy the show.
Hi, I'm Jaime.
Hi, I'm Randi.
Hi, I'm Gabe, and I loved the debate.
I loved half of the debate. Well, no, like a third of the debate. Didn't they say that she talked about a third of the time? Like the other 2/3 could have just gone away.
Yeah, but I even liked the parts when he was just rambling.
Yes, I really like.
I can't hear you at all.
You need to actually. Oh, because her microphone's not on.
There we go.
Sorry.
There we go.
Technical difficulties because I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay.
No, I was gonna say, like a lot of people are like mad at Lester Holt for letting him ramble on like that. They're like, oh, he should have stopped him and told him to stop interrupting. But I'm like, I'm happy he did that because it let Trump, do what he does and look like an idiot. So I'm really happy that he just let them, like he just asked questions and then let them go on about it. I mean, I think that's the whole point.
Yeah. Well, in a normal debate, in a normal year, it wouldn't have been. Had this been Bush Kerry in 2004 and they were just blah, 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 going after people would have been, I think legitimate in saying, hey, this debate needed more moderation.
Yeah.
And Lester Holt got a lot of criticism for staying out. But I mean, holy shit, this was like an entire different, normally a presidential debate, it's like, it's like Hamilton and Burr with the duel, and they come out and they have their seconds and they say the rules. I mean, this was like an MMA cage fight, and she kicked his ass.
Yeah.
And, just let him go on.
The best part was the split screen, because usually like the rules of the debate are like that you only focus in on the person who's speaking at that time, because it kind of gives the other candidate a break. I mean, when you're on camera for 90 minutes straight, at some point you're going to make a weird face.
Right.
But and it took Donald Trump about 30 seconds to make his first weird face.
Yes.
But you could just tell when she was getting under his skin. Like, I want to play poker with Donald Trump because the man has no poker face.
Wrong. Like, please stop.
No, actually keep going.
Please proceed.
Please proceed.
He was, but I agree that he, like the first part, he did sound, like I said, I felt he would be a mix. And at least for the first 30 minutes, he was a mix, because trade, I think I agree that is like his thing, like that he's taking that on. And now he's like, I'm the guy to talk about, even though he shipped all of his jobs overseas. But anyway.
And traded with Cuba when it was illegal to do
yes,
so. I mean, hello.
Exactly.
So he's not ethical, but he should know what he's talking about.
And when he talks about it, just to be honest, he sounds better than she does talking about it, because I feel like she really didn't feel like she could really back up NAFTA, I guess the way that you would want her to. So,
but at the same time, that's still your husband put NAFTA in place.
Yeah,
like,
it wasn't
what
her.
the hell is it on her then? Like, she was the first lady and they're married.
George H.W. Bush was the first person to sign up for NAFTA. So
it wasn't his, it was the first one at that. Yeah, it was a renewal of NAFTA. But like the whole, like the shit your husband did, you're responsible for. I mean, some of it, yes, like the prison stuff and those kind of things do fall on her, because she actually did help and put in place a lot of those criminal justice pieces that are now causing all kinds of bad
a lot
things.
Of people did. I think the CBC endorsed it at the time. Like, I feel like a lot of people just felt like it was a really bad time, which it was. So they mistakenly, obviously,
so that falls on Hillary too, because she was part of implementing that stuff. But like just randomly blaming Hillary Clinton for shit that her husband did while president is not.
No, you can't blame her for everything.
And she said, "I think I'm going to get blamed for everything." And he said, "Why not?"
Yeah, exactly.
That was amazing.
Well, and it was like we talked about it on Monday. How like the sexism piece like really just hits you, and it did. I mean, so many of those things are things every woman has experienced when in a similar situation. I mean, we've never been in a presidential debate, but have been in conversations or in contentious meetings or those kinds of things where that kind of shit has happened. Like, oh, yep, I'm going to get blamed for everything today. Great. Or,
are you just talking over me? Like, won't let me get a word out. It's
interrupted 70 times in 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And held her poise through the entire hour and a half. I mean, there was one point like way at the end where she started to just slightly, you could kind of see her scowl when something, I don't even remember what it was, but I was like, oh, don't lose it. And she just sucked it back up and held tight. I mean, between that and the Benghazi hearing that, you know, we talked about, the amount of just personal physical restraint that she's been able to exert when people are saying, you know, things that are, you know, in terms of, you know, professionally incorrect, lobbing these accusations, and then just incredibly insensitively personal attacks that people lob at her. And I mean, every single one of them, she just, you know, calm, cool, collected, knows exactly how to do that. And it totally threw Trump off. And, you know, there was some point where he was getting ready to hit her. It was on emails. And he starts to throw this punch on emails. And I was sitting there watching with my wife, and she starts cracking up and pointed out that he's so narcissistic that he starts lobbing about emails, which even though, okay, we're all so incredibly tired about hearing about it, and it's not really relevant, blah, blah, blah. He was actually making the argument in a point where she was, you know, she was going to look bad if he continued. And he said, emails. And this thing about Rosie O'Donnell, and he totally
couldn't let the Rosie thing.
Yeah. And my wife said, he's so narcissistic that even when he's doing something to his advantage, if it's not about him, he still has to turn it back. And he totally threw away his entire attack and changed the subject midway through his point to play defense about something that was about him. He can't talk about a subject that's not Donald Trump. That was his undoing.
Yeah. He's so weird in so many ways.
Yeah.
I thought it was painful for me. I'll be honest, it was painful for me watching both of them talk about race. Because neither one of them said the words police brutality at any point in time. And they both talked about, you know, getting, which I agree, we should have gun control, but they were talking about, you know, getting guns out. And of course, Donald Trump's talking about law and order. And then they start to talk about President Obama's birth certificate. And he's like, what do you have to say? He's like, I say nothing. And I'm like, and that's why you're not going to get, that's why no Black and brown people are voting for you, because you have nothing to say to us. Like,
right.
That was just, it was just painful all around.
I thought there was a moment that I thought was good in the discussion on race, where they were asked if police have an inherent bias against Black people. And she said, not only do police have it, we all have it.
Yeah, I thought her answer on that.
Good acknowledgement. Otherwise, I feel you. It wasn't as, you know, full of a discussion as it really should have been in this year.
No.
But I thought at that one point, she had a really nice, solid answer there.
Is that but to give them credit, though, I don't know. Well, not to give them credit, but I guess to give a reality check to the situation, is that it was two elderly white people talking about race to an audience of elderly white people who probably don't want to talk about race. And that's how they're going to talk about it. So
with a Black guy moderating who was told not to get in the way.
Exactly. So
and
the point where he started fact checking, it was like an hour into it. It was on Stop and Frisk, where he
he couldn't let it go.
Could not let it go. I'm like, I don't think it's a coincidence that the Black moderator, the first time he's opening his mouth to fact check, is on Stop and Frisk.
Because he was totally lying, saying that it wasn't deemed unconscious, but it literally just happened. That it was deemed but no, it's great. It really works. Like, we're going to do this.
He was wrong. And then people that work for like the New York City Police Department union start tweeting about how Trump's wrong about this. And they're fact checking.
Did you see NPR's fact check?
I didn't watch it, but I need to go back and check it out.
They did a really good one. Like they kept updating it. Like it was live. So after they got through with like the first section, the economy and everything, then they just went back in and was like, well, so-and-so said this, but this is what really happened. And this was partly true, where these are just, it was just a good, like, okay, live time action.
Right.
These really are what the facts are.
Yeah.
Right.
Which, of course, Donald Trump doesn't care about. It because apparently Donald Trump, according to him and all of the very unscientific polls online, he won by like ridiculous margins. And did you see? I watched yesterday on Chuck Todd's show, and he was talking to a guy. Yes, and he was like, "You know, right? That these are it wasn't his show. It was someone else showing video later. But anyway, he was like, these are fan polls. You already realize they're not scientific. You can refresh and vote again. And so all of his supporters have gone on there and said that, you know, Trump won the debate. But the guy was still like, no.
He won. He won the polls. He won all the polls. All the polls. Won all the polls by bigly.
Huge crowds.
He bigly won all the polls.
Exactly.
Let's use all of it. Yeah, that was. But on the race thing too, I think the other piece that really struck me was Donald Trump's interpretation of Black community.
Yes,
that you're living in hell
every time.
You're living in hell, and me as the white savior is the only one who's going to get you out of that hell.
Says the guy who's been prosecuted for racial real estate profiles.
Yes.
And he was like, that's just the
harmed
thing.
Black communities.
Exactly.
It's housing.
That's just a thing that happens, and we admitted zero guilt, and we just paid a fine. Like, but I'm glad that Hillary came back and was like, wow, you really paint a dire picture of the Black community when actually we have a lot to be proud of. And I'm like, exactly. It's like, not everybody is living in a hellhole ghetto and is uneducated. Like, hello, Black women are the most educated group in the United States demographically wise. We get the most master's degrees and PhDs. But no, we're living in a hellhole and we need him to come. Yeah. And I was just like, so it was so funny, but so terrible when he was like, you know, I believe that in this last little while, I've developed a great relationship with the African American community. I was like, are you serious right now?
Yes,
you hear and I'm so glad she was like, well, just listen to what you just heard.
Yeah. Did you hear what you just
heard? In this last little while, I've developed a great relationship with them.
Such a great relationship that all of his African American events are packed with white audiences.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, we got to give Hillary the "That's What She Said" award. She talked about Trump accused her. I think he was trying to attack her on pneumonia. And she turned it around and said, you know what? I took some time. I prepared for the debate. She said, I also prepared to be president.
Yeah. Boom.
And that was great. And she got attacked after the debate. She was overprepared. I'm like, that's not a thing. You know what? If the New York Yankees go out and win a game, no one says they practice too much.
Exactly.
You know why? What are the New York Yankees made up of?
White
men.
Not white men. Men.
Oh yeah, they got a lot of
the only people who ever get criticized for being overprepared are women. I mean, it's
right.
Yeah. So
I mean, nobody's going to look at the Marines after a battle that they've won and said, "Well, you guys overprepared." Over preparation is not a thing. It would be if it was distracting from all of your other duties, which
he obviously didn't prepare at all, and he looked terrible.
Right. And it's for
just
president.
Like he literally physically looked like. Well, I'm sure y'all heard of what Howard Dean said about him being on cocaine, which is allegedly, we don't know. But I'll say his eyes were very red and he was sniffing a whole lot.
It's allegedly a really fine theory.
But not where Howard Dean should have gone, by the way. I mean, that was just stupid and ridiculous. I mean, it just totally switched the debate to Howard Dean's accusing Trump of doing cocaine. I mean, and
I didn't mind it. I think
I thought it was hilarious because it's still like allegedly and nobody really cares. It's just funny, but I mean, his eyes were really red and he kept sniffing a lot.
Care.
Like he was so Well, true. He shouldn't be on.
You're running for president. This is the point where, we need to drug test these people. Yeah, you know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
If you're going to be going down to the situation room.
Cocaine? I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess Donald Trump. Cocaine, I mean, it seems like a rich person's party drug. So.
Yeah. And running for president, I'd way out of bounds.
Yeah.
He's going to get nuclear codes.
Yeah.
Let's drug test him.
Have we ever done that before?
No, and I think we should. There's so many calls for drug testing. If they're going to get Medicaid dollars and welfare money, if you're going to run the Army and the Air Force and the Navy, let's have some drug testing.
We should. But the problem is that's the same stupid shit that we got pissed off that the right wing did when Hillary had pneumonia. Oh, she's dying of MS or epilepsy or blah. Take after Howard Dean. That's just
and then
stupid shit.
But then she produced medical records.
That didn't shut them up, and they kept going and they kept going, and we kept yelling about it. If we're going to yell about it on our side, we need to not do it on our side too. I mean, and that's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah.
I think accusations as to somebody's medical situation and drug use are.
I sniff a lot too, and it's not because I use cocaine, and my eyes are probably really red today because I've worked like 4 14-hour days this week. And so he's a 70-year-old dude running for president. He's probably a little tired and run down. Yeah. So let's just not go all the way crazy. Because I mean, there are a million reasons to attack Donald Trump, and that's just not one of them. You know what is the walk of shame this week.
There we go.
let's pull this train back onto the tracks.
The walk of shame.
So there were lots of that's what she said moments. So we had to pick one for Donald Trump's walk of shame because there was no doubt that he was the walk of shame candidate for the week. There were just so many to choose from. So at the end, Hillary was attacking him on his treatment of women and used a beauty queen, which Gabe has.
Alicia Machado.
There you go. Randi remembers names today. Good job.
I know. I usually never do.
And so she won Miss Universe, and then I guess gained weight.
Oh my goodness.
Like 100% of Americans do.
She's not always going to be as skinny as she was when she won the Miss Universe pageant.
Exactly.
Shocking.
Yeah.
I'm also not as, thin and everything as I was when I ran previous campaigns. I mean, we all gained weight after things. So she gained weight, and so I guess he called her
Miss
Piggy, and then because she was Latina, Miss Housekeeping, because that's the only reason you would like a Latina woman. And so he attacked her there, and then this morning went on a ridiculous Twitter rant.
5 in the morning.
At 5:30 in the morning, Donald Trump went on a Twitter rant accusing Crooked Hillary of getting her a visa and citizenship into the United States so that she could use her against Donald Trump. And that the real person against women is Hillary Clinton because of Bill. But he's not going to talk about that because he doesn't want to go there. So Donald Trump gets his walk of shame for his latest ridiculous, stupid attack. Yes. And it really goes back to, it's really funny, they were talking about this morning, goes back to this narcissism on Donald Trump's part. It's the same exact way after he attacked the Khan family during the convention. This happened Monday. I mean, Monday night.
Yeah.
It's Friday.
Yeah.
He
went the very next day and talked about it on
he doubled
Fox
down.
News.
Yeah, so he doubled down on it Tuesday morning. Oh, she got fat. She gained weight. There's a problem with that.
If she would have not gotten fat, she could have possibly been his stepmom.
We're just gonna leave that one alone.
Yeah.
So he doubles down on it Tuesday and gets attacked for it again, and it makes him look even worse with women.
Yeah.
Right.
And then on Friday morning, he goes on a Twitter rant about it again, bringing it up again, making it hurt him even worse. Dude, let it go.
Exactly.
Accusing Crooked Hillary of bad judgment.
Yes. By continuing to scream about,
Right. I'm surprised we didn't think Rudy Giuliani could be the walk of shame as well.
Oh, yeah.
For him saying that Hillary is too stupid to be president because she stayed with Bill after his infidelity. And it's like, who are you to talk? Like, look at everything that you've done.
But okay, let's just bring this back. I don't like attacking people for, infidelity and, because those are personal things and whatever. But like Hillary Clinton was the wife of a cheating husband.
Yeah.
Donald Trump was the cheater.
Right.
And we're attacking Hillary in this situation.
Right.
What the hell? Like, it's so over the top that it's just like, I want to. Like, I actually read, somebody posted the article and was like, dear Rudy Giuliani, I think you misspelled Trump.
Yeah.
Because if there's one person too stupid to be president, it is not Hillary Clinton, the most qualified candidate to ever run for the presidency.
So this week has taken sort of all of these previous things that we've understood about Donald Trump, the hatred for Latinos, hatred for the Black community, and really brought it into focus with discussions on race, with not only his general mistreatment of Latinos and the accusations that Mexicans are rapists, but now we have this solid single example, from years ago where it was highly documented.
Yeah.
Of, he's not going after Latinas, he's going after this woman.
Mm-hmm.
And he's attacking her because she's a woman. He's attacking her, because she's Latina. I think the debate has really helped focus this race. That combined with the thing that you mentioned about, doing business with Cuba during the embargo, he's really at risk of losing or never gaining huge voting demographics that he absolutely needed. So this was a great week for Hillary. She played a very good game this week.
So Ohio, get your freaking act in gear and stop being stupid. That's all I gotta say. We're gonna leave it.
Yes.
With that.
And so speaking of Ohio, the next thing in their agenda is to talk about Ohio voter registry. You have until October 11th to go out and register to vote. If you are already registered to vote, something very important we want to talk about is confirming your registration, because the state of Ohio went after many parts of the voter registry to remove people from the polls.
Over 1 million people.
Yeah, lots of people. So go to myohiovote.com. Ironically, that is the Secretary of State's website, or ohiounitycoalition.org. And you can look up your own voter registry, make sure that your name, address, all your information is correct. Do that before October 11th, because then if there's any problems, you can file a correction and make sure that your registry is on file and you're going to get to vote.
Did y'all get something in the mail? Because I got something in the mail like a week or two ago.
Your absentee ballot or a confirmation of voter
I think it was
registration?
An absentee ballot request.
Yeah, ballot request.
Yeah. And if you received that, most likely your registration is active and good. But even if you received that mail, I go back and just make sure 100% that you know what's going on. And also that like which precincts and those kinds of things you're in, because my polling location, most polling locations have more than one precinct. So you've got to hit the right table, because our Secretary of State has also ruled that if I think my precinct is like 19H, and if I went to 19F instead,
which might be across the gym.
Yeah. It's at the table right next door to where I'm standing. And I'm not in the books, and I insist, and I take a provisional ballot at that table in the same room, my vote at that table will not count because I was at the wrong precinct. So, if you're not in the poll book and you think you should, and you've checked your registration and you should be in the poll book, you need to check the other precincts in before taking a provisional ballot and make sure that you're voting in the right place, because if you cast a provisional ballot in the wrong location, it will not be counted.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of ridiculousness. One of the people who's really taken the lead on all these things is State Representative Kathleen Clyde from Kent, Ohio. she is fabulous and amazing, has been fighting all of this voter registration, purging, and those kinds of things. Husted purged more voters than any other state. Ohio is #1 for purging voters from the voting rolls.
Wow.
So, kudos goes to Kathleen Clyde for really taking the lead and being, as Gabe wrote on our agenda, a voting rights superhero.
Yes.
Here in the state of Ohio. So go Kathleen, keep winning. Of course, Husted appealed the court ruling on the purge. So the people who were purged are supposed to be back in there because we won a court ruling staying the purge, stopping the purge from happening. Of course, Husted, because he wants to be governor in 2018, is continuing to try to purge these people out by appealing that court ruling. So we'll see what happens there.
So the court ruling that you're mentioning, the U.S. Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, they overturned a lower court decision to order John Husted to keep these names on the rolls and to stop purging voters for not voting. Kathleen Clyde put out a press release. She put it out on National Voter Registration Day, which was last week. Earlier this week. She said, "We're elated to say that Ohio voters will no longer have to worry that Secretary Husted will randomly select them to be unregistered simply because they don't vote in every election. This is a landmark victory for voters, one that is so huge it has the capability of changing the election outcome in Ohio." So bravo, Representative Clyde, but we need to make sure that that Husted doesn't continue to make additional efforts. But regardless, everybody can make sure that their voter registration is on file. MyOhioVote.com. We'll put the link to that and the Ohio Unity Coalition in the show notes. Go and confirm your voter registration to make sure that you can vote.
I think that's good. I'm glad they stopped the purge. But I also read that possibly Ohio this year, that Hillary might not need Ohio to win.
I know, but I still want Ohio to go for Hillary.
No,
because,
I still want it to as well. But I just think that's very interesting that she might. That is so bad for Trump in other swing states that she might not even need us to win.
But she does need us to win.
And Ted Strickland needs us.
Yes, and Ted Strickland needs us, and all of our Democrats down the ticket and everything else. So still vote, everyone.
Yes. No, I'm not telling people not to vote.
But that's what people hear when you say
okay. No, you should still vote.
She still needs us. And come on, people. I do not live in a state that would elect Donald Trump. I refuse to believe that. So the citizens of Ohio need to back me up on that shit. Because, dude, I go to enough national political conversations around this country that I do not want to be the person from Ohio that everybody looks at and goes like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Because that's what happened after John Kerry. They're like, what happened in Ohio? And I was like, dude, I won all my precincts. Somebody else screwed up. I had a set of precincts I was in charge of in Cleveland and I was running and all of them went the right way. Somebody else screwed that shit up. But go Ohio, go vote, please.
And the fact that it was Ohio that put President Obama, I mean, that's always going to be a memory in my mind of seeing that it was Ohio that put him over the top in terms of electoral votes. And then seeing the video from, then I was working for Planned Parenthood, from in their national headquarters and just seeing their war room explode with joy when they called Ohio. And I was like, oh, that's us.
Me.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was really great. And Ohioans are getting new encouragement to vote for Hillary that they've never gotten before. The Cincinnati Enquirer endorsed Hillary. It's the first time since, I believe, Warren G. Harding that they've endorsed a Democrat.
Wow.
Which means that they didn't endorse President Obama either time, but now they like Hillary. They said, our country needs calm, thoughtful leadership to deal with the challenges we face at home and abroad. We need a leader who will bring out the best in all Americans, not the worst. That's why there's only one choice when we elect a president in November, Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, at least they had a backbone, unlike USA Today. Like, seriously, like the first time you ever weighed in to a political endorsement and your endorsement is don't vote for Trump.
Yeah.
Like, Especially after this week, when the Libertarian candidate couldn't even freaking name another world leader. You've got a Green Party candidate that's not pulling more than 3% of the vote and, has some really kind of not so mainstream scientific opinions and frankly is not qualified to be president either.
Couldn't find Columbus with the jet plane.
Yeah, couldn't find Columbus with a jet plane. Her staff flew her into Cincinnati instead of Columbus for her Columbus rally. You'd missed that one. Yeah, they didn't know. So yeah, especially when this
flying her plane.
No. It was like she booked commercial. She doesn't have a private plane because she's not that fancy.
Oh, okay.
They booked her on a commercial airline flight into the Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Airport. That's the name of it, by the way, because it is actually in Kentucky, not Ohio. So they actually flew her into Kentucky for a rally in Columbus, Ohio. Yeah, she was 2 hours late because they had to drive her from Cincinnati to Ohio because they couldn't book it right. So yeah.
Wow.
So, dear USA Today, if you think Donald Trump isn't qualified, you've got to think that Jill Stein and Ginger Johnson are also not qualified. Therefore, there's only one other person who is.
Yeah.
Right.
So don't do the lame, ridiculous, spineless move of just saying don't vote for Donald Trump. You've got to actually endorse Hillary Clinton to get props.
They endorsed against Donald Trump. They said from the day he declared his candidacy 15 months ago through this week's first presidential debate, Trump has demonstrated repeatedly that he lacks the temperament, knowledge, steadiness, and honesty that America needs from its presidents. They didn't say vote for Hillary, but they said, the headline is Trump is unfit for the presidency.
Well, I don't think endorsements and newspaper endorsements is going to move anybody anyway. It is cool that all of these people who have never endorsed a Democrat are endorsing, like the Arizona Republic.
Right.
They're doing it for the first time too. But again, it's cool, but I don't think nobody really cares. It's like yard signs.
I think if you're an honest to God swing voter, and we always ask, who the hell are these idiots who don't know?
Who are these people?
I think if you're an honest to God swing voter, the USA Today, which is kind of the swing voters newspaper,
does anybody really read that except when they're staying in a hotel? Who reads that newspaper when it's not delivered to your door at a hotel?
Bob Evans. I always picture.
Is it free?
Not outside of Bob Evans.
There's always a copy laying around. You're going to Bob Evans. It's Sunday morning. You're waiting in line for way too long for these shitty pancakes. And you sit there and you read the paper. That's like my visualization of your average swing voter.
Okay.
Sunday morning pancakes at Bob Evans, and they're going to pick up the USA Today, and they might see that. And I think that will make people think, oh, I can't vote for that guy.
Yeah.
I guess I'll vote for Hillary.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
So
but
I think it does something.
But I agree with Jamie though that there's a lack of enthusiasm on our side right now. The people who are voting for Donald Trump, they're excited, they're definitely voting, they're his people. And then on our side, yes, we have people who are excited, but we still have a lot of people, especially young people of all races, who are not that excited. So yeah, I don't think that seeing something like that, if they were a true swing voter, that's really going to be oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's because they weren't going to vote for Trump anyway. So, who cares? They already are I'm already not voting for Trump.
I think some of them are, though, because I think some of them are falling into that anything but Hillary kind of camp and, are justifying. You've seen it with Ted Cruz and all those people who, have finally come around to endorse him. Does not include.
But they were
if
they were already Republican anyway, I don't consider them a swing voter though, or independent voter.
If they felt it's the anything but Hillary kind of camp, I can excuse these behaviors. I wasn't saying Ted Cruz is those types of people. I'm saying that the same kind of arguments, that the whole idea of, I'll just hold my nose and vote for Donald Trump because he isn't that bad. Well, yeah, he is actually.
Yeah.
Hillary is actually the not that bad candidate in that camp if you're really going to go vote on that kind of thing. And, so the USA Today should have said that. I mean, the sentence you just read, you could have turned around.
Now I'm just thinking, who is this person who's holding their nose to vote for Donald Trump is saying that he's not as bad as Hillary? Like,
because he's just saying those things to get voted elected. He doesn't really believe them. I mean, we've seen quotes from those kinds of people. Like, I just don't believe that he's that racist. But
I feel like those people are that are saying that are his supporters anyway.
Not really. No, his supporters are like, woohoo, he's racist and so am I.
No, because they interview some of his supporters and they're like, we don't like that he's talking about this beauty queen or that he's saying this other thing. Like, we're still going to support him, but we wish he would just talk about the issues. And I feel like those people, like, they were supporting him. They're going to support him anyway because they want change or whatever. Yeah. But there's still a lot of them still say who are in his camp, go to his rallies, but they still say, I don't like some of the things that he says. And I don't know. I just feel like independent people who are like, I don't like some of the things. I feel like those people are already like, he's definitely the worst out of the two of them. I don't feel like those people. No. Okay, maybe not.
I don't think so.
Maybe there's a few. I'm just like, really, though? Okay. That seems, yeah.
So the last paper we want to talk about is the Akron Beacon Journal. It's the only other paper in Ohio that's issued a presidential endorsement other than Cincinnati Enquirer. The Canton repository endorsed nobody. They actually wrote a column for the express purpose of endorsing nobody, which they did 4 years ago. So it's just their shtick, whatever.
That's hilarious.
Whatever.
Akron Beacon Journal. They said the focus in this race belongs to the breadth of her record and what Hillary would bring to the presidency, her appreciation of what it takes to govern, and her grasp of how to do so. She is resilient, tested, and calm. She knows her way around the partisan battles. This country doesn't need a revolution. It isn't a wreck. It requires the right brand of change. So the Akron Beacon Journal wrote, of all of these, probably the best straightforward, Hillary is the right person for the job. So
see USA Today, that's how you do it.
Right.
Right. You turn that sentence around that Gabe read and say that Hillary Clinton is all these things because that is the truth. Yes.
So we'll probably see many more newspaper endorsements. We'll go over those in future weeks.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the Dispatch does because they're another one that always endorses the Republicans. So,
so we had a fun day yesterday.
Yes, we are put in the category of things we are really, really excited about. Hillary Clinton and our patients advocates.
Yes.
So Patients Advocates, if folks don't remember or haven't listened before, is actually a group project between NARAL Pro-Choice Ohio, Preterm, the Ohio Religious Coalition for Reproductive Choice, and our amazing best friends at New Voices Cleveland. And so it's a cohort of 10 fellows who were patients at Preterm.
Fellows as in fellowship.
Yeah, fellowship, yes. 10 amazing women from really all walks of life. It was really, we really set out with a goal of having a really diverse on all levels group of women and accomplished it, which we're really excited about. I mean, from high school graduates through a woman with a law degree, white, Black, Latina, biracial, all these things, economic levels, jobs, number of kids. I mean, all the different kinds of levels. So they've been being trained on how to become an advocate from just being a patient, so that we have more of these voices out there because we're not the storytellers. We shouldn't be telling other women's stories. We should be training up and empowering women to share their own stories as they feel fit and necessary. So these 10 women have been going through this program since I think March or so. Yesterday, we brought them to Columbus and they did 2 panel presentations, one for the OSU Med Students for Choice, kind of talking to the next generation of doctors about how they should treat women who have had abortions. And then they came downtown Columbus and did a policymaker legislator panel, mostly with legislative staff. State Representative Kent Smith did come, which was awesome. And they, just really shared how laws impact them and how, because, you talk about, the building on the hill where they pass down the laws and, we never really hear from the people who are impacted the most from them. So they were really amazing. They shared their stories. They were very open with their experiences and really told it like it is. This is how they feel as citizens of Ohio who have had abortions. What the legislature does makes them feel like fill in the blank. And it was a really good. I really enjoyed it. I think people really got a lot out of it.
I do too. So hopefully we'll hear more from them. They did amazing at the concert.
Oh yes.
They've read the poem.
They opened for Sia. Come on.
They opened for Sia. Jessica Williams referred to them as an abortion supergroup. So watch this space. We'll see more from our patients to advocates in future weeks.
Yeah.
So, you want to sing us out?
Let's get it on. Okay, yes. Phone banks. It's getting closer to time. It's already today's September 30th.
39 days.
39 days. Oh my God. 39 days. That's very scary.
And really exciting. Can it be tomorrow?
I know, really? Can it though? But yeah, so we're going to continue to phone bank to get our supporters out, let them know how important this election is. And we're going to vote in pro-choice champions like all the way down the ballot because we need to get Hillary in, but we need to also get people in who are going to help her to realize her agenda. Otherwise, this would all be for nothing if we don't also get, at least the Senate. So we need to phone bank call. We're going to be doing a postcard party in the Cincinnati area October 9th from 2 to 4. But I'll be sending out an email to people in the area so you all can come, and we'll send out postcards to our supporters also, reminding them to go out and vote. And if you're interested in doing that, you can still do that as well as if you're not, close to a city, you can phone bank from home, volunteer at prochoiceohio.org, and we'll be resending out, like I said, again, an opportunity for you to sign up to come into the office to phone bank, do it from home, or host a party to remind you of all the dates, and because we've added in some more dates too, because it's really important and it's really, really, really tight in Ohio right now.
Yeah. And then there's a couple other events coming up in Cleveland on October 29th. Yeah, the 29th. They're actually going to do kind of a March rally to early vote. So starting somewhere, we're still finalizing the details. Gabe will put the Facebook event in the show notes. But going from somewhere near Cleveland State, marching to the Board of Elections where early vote is happening, and then having everybody early vote. There'll be rides for people who can't walk. And then we'll be joining with our partners at America Votes for the Get Out the Vote kind of period. That's also going to start on the 29th. So we'll be working with them on the 29th and 30th, and then through the weekend before and the days before Election Day, canvassing all over the state of Ohio. There'll be staging locations all over Ohio. So stay tuned for an email on that and sign up for canvas shifts to really make sure that our supporters and our people get out to vote, because it is so important this year. Everybody's doing it. You should do it too.
Find us on Facebook and then search for our events. The event Jamie talked about is called Your Voice, Your Vote. Saturday, October 29th, starting at 1 p.m., going from Cleveland State to the Cuyahoga County Board of Elections. So if you're in Cleveland, obviously if you don't vote in Cuyahoga County, you can't vote at the Cuyahoga County Board of Elections.
No, you cannot.
Go for moral support.
Might want to mention that to folks. But yeah, a bunch of great opportunities to vote early. Can't vote often, but
vote early, and then for often take other people
Trump
to vote.
Thinks we're doing.
Often take your people.
We're voting 9 times. Like, no, not really.
Bring 9 neighbors.
Yeah, bring 9 neighbors.
Bring 9 neighbors
who are voting the right way.
Yep.
Yes.
And
if they're not, leave them at home.
And we'll see everybody next week.
Bye.
Bye.